Hey everybody, JC here. Hope everybody's having a great late afternoon, early evening here on Saturday. It is almost 5:30 here in Porter, Texas. Getting ready to go to the family restaurant and boba shop to go see my wife and a couple other family members and just see how they're doing. And we're going to use Tesla FSD to go do it. Let's go. All right. Pull out of my front driveway. No cars or kids coming. Got a neighbor pulling out as well, so wait on them in their Toyota Navigator. Pulling around. Watch out for that GMC Sierra. All right. Come up to the stop sign. We do have an oncoming vehicle. And as soon as they go, we're good to go. Pulling out of the neighborhood. Come up to the stop sign. Come to a complete stop, take a right turn, but avoid the young lady there in her SUV, and off we go. So yeah, we're just going to my wife's family restaurant and boba shop today. Again, it's a Saturday, late afternoon, early evening, a few minutes before 5:30. Beautiful day today, 84 degrees. No clouds, lots of sun all day. Spent most of the day cleaning around the house a bit, doing some laundry. I was gone all of last week in Kansas, as many of you already know. I was on a road trip with my wife to Wichita, Kansas. And interestingly, we're going to do the exact same thing this next week. She needs to go back to Kansas for Monday through Thursday of next week. So I told her, hey, I don't have any problem driving you back up there and spending some time. So she enjoys that. You know, like I've mentioned to y'all before, I am retired. I retired from my professional career, my 30-plus year career of being a certified public accountant in the Big Four accounting world. And so now my primary job is being a professional house husband. So I am her gopher, her go-between, her limo driver, chauffeur, her bodyguard, anything that needs to take place. I would say highest on that list is probably gopher and chauffeur. Those are probably the two most important things. Her confidant. I'm also her confidant on all things that she needs to get off her chest, so to speak, whether it relates to family or to friends, girlfriends, any of that, including me. And whether it's about family and friends, girlfriends, or me, you just stay quiet and you listen. You know, every third or fourth sentence, every now and then you throw in something just to let her know that you're taking it all in, absorbing it, and that you're enthralled. Chris Rock had a joke about that one time, that the best thing you can ever do is just listen. Just close your mouth, open your ears, and listen to the significant other in your life, especially if that significant other is a woman. But that every once in a while, you can't just listen, because then she'll think you're not listening. So you got to throw something in there. And Chris Rock's was very colorful. His was, I told you that B word was crazy. I don't do that, but I do throw in something every once in a while. But yeah, I'm obviously being a little tongue-in-cheek there, but yeah. So that's the plan again this week, is I will be chauffeuring my wife back up to Wichita. It's actually a pretty easy trip. It's a little bit over 9 hours of driving. It's almost entirely interstate. So from where we live, you get up on 59 East Tex Freeway, which isn't an interstate, but it's a freeway. And you're on that for about 3 miles. About 3 miles. And then you get on Highway 99 for about 15 miles. And again, not an interstate, but it is a state highway that's 75 miles per hour, nicely paved. And so it's pretty much, with the exception of about 2 to 3 miles, it's entirely interstate and state highways, and good state highways. Not the type of state highways that go through towns where you have to actually stop for stoplights and stuff. Not like Highway 90, where you're going through every little town and going through stoplights. These state highways are, more like interstates. So, again, takes, depending on how long we stay at each stop, and none of which ever has anything to do with charging. It's just always more about, we both, there's a lot of Buc-ee's between Houston and Oklahoma. And so, my wife, when we stop at a Buc-ee's, there's always something she gets interested in or likes to look at. Good food as well. Great bathrooms. But as any of you know that have ever been to a Buc-ee's, both getting into and out of one takes a little while in your car. And then once you're in the Buc-ee's, you could just be going to Buc-ee's to use the bathroom and get a drink. That's it. And it could still take you 10 to 15 minutes. But that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Tell you what, cleanest bathrooms of any rest stop, convenience, gas station, whatever, Tesla Superchargers along the way, I've ever seen. Clean bathrooms, plentiful bathrooms. So even women, you may have to line up depending on the time of day. It could be so busy that there's a line. But my wife was telling me that even when there's a line, it moves so fast because there's so many stalls. Sorry if this is too much information, but this is real life stuff you need to know, right? And when it comes to using the bathroom on the road, that is a much more significant predicament that you need to plan around for women than it is for men. Let's just be blunt. Like, there are places that I have no problem stopping at and using the restroom that my wife will just be like, nah, I'm staying in the car, I'll wait till the next one. Like, she'd rather hold it than go into, and guys, I mean, maybe it's just me, maybe I shouldn't say all guys, but we don't need much. Hell, let's just be blunt. We don't even need a convenience store. So it's pretty easy. It's a lot easier for us biologically. So Buc-ee's is just outstanding for that. There are some things about Buc-ee's that, can get you know, not worrisome, but just tiring, because it's just such a gaggle, you know what, of people. I mean, I always say it's kind of like the Disney World of convenience stores, of rest stops. All right, putting on our right blinker to get around this slower vehicle. There we go. Our speed selection through here is very good. This is a 45 mile per hour speed limit zone, and we're going 49, 48. So absolutely in that sweet spot. Yeah, I would say through here, most people, this is a 45, most people go in the high 40s, low 50s through here with no problem. I think if you were to go 55 or above, you might have a little bit of problem with the police. That being said, we're about to hit the bridge that goes over Lake Houston, and on that bridge, everybody goes 55 and above, but they wait until they get past that, because there have been many a police officer have been sitting right there waiting to get folks. But as soon as they hit that bridge, let's see what we do. Let's see if we start speeding up as soon as we get on this bridge. We're not. We're staying, let's see, 49. See, the car too, they're probably, we're going 50. They're probably going about 55. Yep, see how we're speeding up a bit now? But we're not speeding up. We're 52 now. We're not going as fast as most people go when they go over this bridge. Oh, we're starting to, maybe I should shut my mouth. 53 now. So we're almost kind of keeping up with the traffic in front of us. But you can see we're going 53, and they're still kind of pulling away just a little bit. So they're probably going about 55. And the Tahoe next to us, they were going about 60. And again, this is all still a 45 mile per hour speed limit zone, but just telling you what people actually do. All right, getting over into the left lane, avoiding the congestion to the right. There's another, got a Model Y to our right. Beautiful. No, actually, that's a Model X. I'm sorry. Sometimes with Model Ys and Model X's, I have to get, well, I don't know. Is that a Model Y or a Model X? I have to get, I think that was a Model X. you're gonna have to forgive me. I have gotten to the point where I'm a little bit better at differentiating from afar a Model X from a Model Y, but they both still, the old Model Y, not the new ones that have just come out, but the body shape is roughly similar. So sometimes I have to get right up on it to see that it's actually a model. And once you're right up on it, it's a lot bigger. Model X's are pretty good size. Model Y's are great size too. Hell, I've told people before, I've been at Tesla Superchargers where I have seen a family of 4, and the 2 kids were, teenagers, preteens and teenagers. We're not talking babies. Get out of a Model Y and they're traveling. They're on a road trip. So a family of 4 that's easy peasy for a Model Y. Easy. Hell, heck, I'm sure it's good. It's enough for a family of 5. Depending on how young that number 5 family member is. Because, you can get them so young, they can fit just about anywhere in the back seat. But, yeah, so any of y'all interested in the Model Y, it is really a true crossover. Because I know plenty of single people that love their Model Ys and never have more than another 1 or 2 more passengers in there with them. They use it for Uber as well, and will only have 1 or 2 passengers at a time. But like I said, I also have seen families of 4 and 5 use it. So it's a great crossover, right? It's not going to be equivalent to some of these really big SUVs that you see out here, the Lincoln Navigators, the Cadillac Escalades, Chevy Suburban. Yeah, I mean, that's not a crossover though, right? That is a big, full-size Suburban. And the Model Y is not going to, be as big as that. But I will also tell you that none of those other vehicles can go 0 to 60 like a Model Y can and zip around. So, truly a great crossover vehicle, if that's what you're in the market for, which many, many millions are. It's the #1 selling car in the world, right? So, obviously, folks love the Tesla Model Y. And they have recently launched it just about everywhere. I say just about everywhere. I know there's some geographies that they're still waiting on it, but North America, China, heck, they've had it now for over a month, I believe. So I think they started in late January or early February doing deliveries of the new Model Y. And man, it is just going like hotcakes over there. And we just recently started delivering Model Ys here in the United States. And from everything I've seen, man, they are flying out there as well. And it looks like a great car. I mean, everything on the inside has just been refreshed. So very similar to this Model 3 that I have, which is a refresh, and how different it is than the old Model 3 from an interior standpoint. Same thing with the Model Y. And they've changed up the outside body style a bit. I think one of the digs on the old Model Y is it kind of had that bubble shape. Again, it didn't hurt sales. People either love that look, some people love that look, or a lot of people just looked right past it because of everything else that was so good with the Model Y. But the refresh, the Model Y Juniper, that is just now starting to get delivered, they've definitely made it look sportier. It's not as sporty looking as the Model 3 or the Model S, but definitely much. And there's a Model Y right there. That is true. That is a old Model Y right there. But they've made it, and you can tell. Well, no, you can't right now. It's behind us. But yeah, so it looks a lot sportier now. It's still got it's unmistakable that it's a Model Y, but it's definitely sleeker. And it's got that single light bar, which I really like. And then obviously it's got the light bar inside the interior of the vehicle, which is awesome at night. Just really good add-on. Yeah, I used to never do FSD drives at night. And once I got this refresh Model 3 with the light bar inside, it's like, a lot of folks were like, man, you ought to do more night drives because it really looks beautiful. Yeah, so we are going back to Kansas. I forgot to mention that, and I'll talk about that more on the way back because we're getting pretty close to the family restaurant and boba shop, but we are actually going back to Kansas next week. So I will be on the road again all day tomorrow, heading back up to Wichita and spend the week there and do some more FSD drives around the Wichita area. I did the airport last week. I did downtown and Old Town, those two areas. But there's definitely some other points of interest in the Wichita area from an FSD and autonomous vehicle standpoint that we've still got on the to-do list. I'll tell you what though, I am so ready for FSD, at least on the highways, to go to unsupervised. Because it is so ready. And I'm still, like I said, I'm on 13.2.8. I'm not even, Tesla is probably 2 or 3 versions ahead of me right now. Let's see if this thing tries to park. Looks like it is. Let's see how good of a job it does. Let's see what it decides to do here. Is it just going to stop? Huh? Going to reverse out? Let's see. Well, it gave up on that one. Let's see if it tries another one. Or if it just gets out and then gives up. Come on, try another one. Gonna try to reverse in. Let's see. Awesome. So I think that's might be the first time it reverse parked here at the restaurant. So I always hold my, I don't say anything until it's done and that screen comes up, because I've done that before. We're like, oh wow, look at this, it's reverse parking. And then as soon as I say that, it pulls back out. All it was doing was getting out of the other place, and then it pulls over somewhere. So that was great. So that was parking spot to parking spot. Soup to nuts on that one. From my driveway at home to my wife's family restaurant and boba shop. This was not parking lot to parking lot. This was parking spot to parking spot. Soup to nuts. Done. Awesome. So yeah, I'll talk about it more on the way back when I'm done here. But yeah, we are heading back up to Kansas again this week. I think this will be the last week she needs to be in Kansas for a good while, probably for about 3 or 4 weeks. But yeah, I told her, hey, if you need to go back up there again, I'm game. Let's go. Like I said, I'm retired. And I'm your chauffeur. So, and it's, like I said, it's just a little bit over 9 hours. So quite frankly, when you start doing the math, I mean, it's just not that much different than, I mean, obviously you're going to a little quicker, but still, you factor in all of the airport stuff and the parking stuff and baggage, all of that. Yeah, I mean, and you get to spend 9 hours with yours truly. Don't get better than that. Imagine that. As much as y'all listen to me on these videos, I can do that for 9 hours. Actually, I definitely defer to her a lot more in the car. Yeah, so let me shut her down for a little bit. I'm going to run into the restaurant and say hey to everybody, and I will see y'all in a little bit. Bye-bye. Hey, everybody. Back in the Tesla, done at the restaurant. Let's head on back home. All right. Pull out of the parking spot. Let's see how we do here in the shopping center parking lot. There we go. Take a right turn. All right, made our way to the exit. And up here we got one Ford F-150 coming through. Actually, that might have been a 250. All right, we're going to take a right here to Roebuck. All right, stay in this lane here. It's going to merge into one. Great job. Great job. So yeah, headed back to Kansas tomorrow. So yeah, I was as I was mentioning before, I went into the boba shop and restaurant there a while ago, that when you think about something like that, so Houston to Wichita may be a great example of regional travel that could get disrupted. So let's think, you know, thought of as I was in the restaurant getting orders, and not orders of food, but, you know, orders from the boss lady. I was, you know, thinking to myself, yeah, that's, as I was going to drive back. Of course, I was totally focused on what she was saying to me, but I was just multitasking at the exact same time. I was thinking about some of the interesting things about regional travel like that. Put a pin in that for a second. Oh, well, now it stopped. I was going to say, if you look at the Texas and American flag, man, they were just whipped. There they go again. You see how windy it is today. It is just whipped up. Man, they are. Look at that. Almost straight as a sheet. But, yeah, it can get pretty windy around here every once in a while. But, yeah. So, obviously, Cybercabs, robotaxis, robovans. So the larger autonomous vehicle that they showed as well, that's kind of more like a van. And, you know, and let's be clear, although at this point in time, in the year 2025, all we're really talking about for this calendar year, and quite frankly, towards the latter part of this calendar year, we're going to be talking about dedicated cybercabs. So those smaller vehicles, they basically look pretty similar to, like if you took a Model 3 and a Model Y and a little bit of a Cybertruck and combined them all together, you kind of get the Cybercab. Really good look. I like how it looks. But it's a smaller vehicle, right? And it's designed for two people. But inside of a city or an urban center, you know, it's been shown that up to 95% of all trips done within a city center. And when I say city center, I mean like, you know, within a greater metropolitan area. So take the greater Houston area. You know, if you were to go from downtown Houston, go out about 30 or 40 miles and just draw a circle around it, say the Beltway or Highway 99, 95% of all trips within that circle each and every day involve two or less, well, obviously if you're saying less, it's just one. It can't be, none or zero right now. Soon to be. Well, no, they won't even be that good. Well, I guess at certain points they would be zero driver because you got to get it to places. But it's one or two folks in the vehicle. Only 5% of those trips within that circle each and every day involve 3, 4 or more people. It's just facts. It's just the fact of it. So the Cybercab has been launched, or concocted, if you will, specifically for that 95% use case. But we also know that there will be, even within that city center, there will be times where you're going to have 3 or 4 or more people need to go somewhere. So that's where the Model Ys and Model 3s initially, and I'm just talking about the calendar year 2025, will come into play. And especially if there are AI4, where those with unsupervised FSD, Constable got him somebody. Let's see what's happening here. Let me put a pin in that just to see what's going on. Oh, somebody ran a red light up there, and the constable got it, baby. Go get him. Go get him. Get us some revenue. Go get us some revenue. And stop another person from running red lights. But going back to what I put a pin in, yeah, so for that 5% within the city center of drives that are 3 or more, and I get it, some of y'all may be like, well, JC, I'm always 3 or 4 people in my car every single day. Well, you're part of the 5%. I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying you're part of the 5%. And for that 5%, a lot of that could be handled with Model 3s and Model Ys that have unsupervised FSD and can be utilized as part of a robotaxi network. So that is the plan as we speak, sometime in late, mid to late 2025 in certain geographic locations, most notably Austin first. But, and the reason I brought all that up to provide context, I also personally see, and not just personally, Tesla has said this as well, is that there is a big addressable market that I could easily see where Cybercabs and Model 3s and Model Ys unsupervised, but also Cybertrucks and Model X's and vehicles that may not even exist today, because we want Tesla to keep moving forward and building purpose-built SUVs and stuff like that, where I could see them doing trips like the one that my wife and I have already done twice together, and we're going to do for a third time starting tomorrow, where it's about God, how many miles is it? I want to say it ended up being about 630 miles, right? Houston to Wichita is about 630 miles. So not a short distance by any means, but also not, anything that can't be handled within a day, right? It's a day, you're on the road all day long. And so for us, depending on how long you are, you stop at each charging stop and eat, do other things. It is anywhere between 9 to 10 hours. And also traffic, right? So a lot of that is also going to be, dependent upon any accidents on the freeway. Or, you do go through some city centers. So like when we're going up to Wichita, we go through 2 major cities and some, mid-tier ones as well. But when I say major city, I mean like Dallas, Fort Worth. I mean, that's a bear. So you go through the entirety of Dallas, Fort Worth, and you also go through Oklahoma City. And for those of y'all that don't know, Oklahoma City is a good-sized city. I mean, it is not a town. It is a city. It sounds stupid for me to even say. Oklahoma City is a city. Like, no duh. But it's good size. I mean, it is a very good, it's over 1 million people. And it is going through Oklahoma City at certain times of the day is no joke. So those are the 2 big, I'm on the northern part of Houston, so I don't have to go through anything big here in Houston. I don't have to fight my way through Houston to get up there. So pretty much the big cities that you go through to get to Wichita are Dallas, Fort Worth, and Oklahoma City. But you do have some smaller cities as well, small to mid-size, where, it's still got a city center. There's still intersections and junctions and whatnot. And the only reason I bring all that up is that you can get a lot of traffic and you can get accidents. So that's why I say 9 to 10 hours. If, you are just efficient as possible at all 3 supercharger stops, or however many you need, because sometimes you got to go pee. But let's generally speaking, you're at least going to be at 3 supercharger stops. So if you're super efficient, you packed something to eat, so all you're doing is charging and going in and using the bathroom, and that's it. And you're just getting refreshments and some sort of snack. You're not stopping to eat at all. Just go. As soon as you're done with your 15 minutes of charging, you're back on the road. And if there's no traffic whatsoever through any of those cities that slows you down, and there's not a lot of semis going by each other, like one semi is going 70 miles an hour, right? and then the one going around it is going 70.00001 miles per hour. To get, y'all know what I'm talking about, because you've been there, we've been there before. Like literally, you can find yourself going 65 miles an hour for about 10 miles, simply because the big semis are trying to get around one another. I am not throwing shade at the truck drivers whatsoever, because we completely depend on them. I'm just laughing at it. It's a typical scenario, right? I always say, you know, that one truck that's going 70, you know, and then those 2 or 3 trucks that are going 70.0000001 miles per hour to get around them. If there's none of that, you can get there in about 9 hours. So 9 to 10 hours, you know, you're in that. Well, that's, you know, you get on the road at 10 o'clock in the morning and you're in Wichita at your hotel, you know, by 8:30 at night, good to go, ready for dinner. So it's like, you know, you eat breakfast, have a cup of coffee, catch up on emails, get last bit of stuff packed, pack up your car, and by dinner time, you're in Wichita. So if I put that into the realm of, let's equate that to going by air, right? So in that scenario where you're packed up and you're leaving the house at 10 a.m., and I'm going to be a bit, you know, this is my example. So if people want to throw any shade or shoot darts at my assumptions, go right ahead. I'm sure some of y'all, you know, cut this a lot thinner, but I'm just going to go by what they tell you to do, you know, at the airport, right? So they generally tell you to try to be at the airport, about an hour or a couple of hours before your flight. You know, you should be getting to the airport about an hour to 2 hours before your flight, because you never know what parking is going to be like. You never know how long it's going to take for the passenger van to pick, because you got to park. And a lot of folks for longer duration trips are going to do off-site parking, unless you're made out of money bags. So let's just say 2 hours, right? So this individual, because we are going to be, you know, you're going to be gone for a while, you're going to do off-site parking of your car. You got to get picked up by a passenger van who's picking up other passengers and dropping them off. You're at an airport that's got 5 terminals. So that passenger van's got to go to all 5 of those. And so you may be the last terminal. You never know where you're going to be in that pecking order. You get dropped off with your luggage now at the terminal, and we've all been there. Security can be a breeze, and security can be an hour. It just always depends on a lot of different variables. And if you want to take a chance on that and miss your flight sometimes, which people have, so that's why I'm just saying I'm being fairly conservative. I will admit that, but I'm saying 2 hours. So if you were leaving your driveway at 10 a.m., then let's just say you got a noon flight to Wichita. So you do all that, you get and you're getting ready to board for your noon flight. Well, guess what almost always happens every single time my wife has, you know, flown somewhere or I've flown somewhere? There's a little bit of a delay. I mean, oh, did it stop on me? Let me just check. Hopefully not. Sorry about that. Yep, stopped on me for a little bit. I don't know what Hopefully it wasn't overheating. Hey, these GoPros, they'll just do that every once in a while. Apologies about that. But yeah, so you get to, let's just say on average, it's about a half-hour delay. What the heck is this young lady doing? Oh, they're trying to get across, my bad. It's like she was running. I thought she was running to get away from somebody. You just never know. When I see a young girl running somewhere, I always look for where she's running from. And that's just me. It's probably a terrible thing to think of, that, you know. But, you know, hopefully she's not trying to run away from some dude. So, but the way she was running kind of had that flailing. Hey, you know, never mind. I was about to say something. It had that typical girl flail. I'm going to go out on a limb and say she's not that, yeah, she's not running 40-yard dashes or track and field anywhere. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, she was just with her girlfriend, and she got across first and was waiting on her girlfriend. So no issues, no battered wife or battered girlfriend thing going on here. But I did want to put a pin in that for a second just to make sure. So, anywho, let's just say half-hour delay. So now your flight leaves at 12:30. So you've left your home at 10 for a noon flight that leaves at 12:30. Well, the flight to Wichita is about an hour and 45 minutes. So you get to Wichita at 2:15, right? And let's just say that everything's good. You know, it takes a while to taxi, but everything works out. You're cleared. You're not left on the tarmac waiting for a spot for a while. So let's say you get to the gate at 2:30. All right. Well, now you got to get off the plane and over to baggage claim. So it takes a while to get off the plane and figure out where baggage claim is and walk over to baggage claim. Let's just say that's a half hour, right? I don't know where you're going to be sitting on it, but let's say you're not money bags, right? You're back in seat 25D, right? You're doing this flight all the time. You're not going business class, whatever. So let's just say that's another 30. So now you're at baggage claim by 2:45 to 3 p.m. All right. How many of you have ever gotten to baggage claim and everything is all right there, already running on the baggage claim before you got there? Almost never, right? And let's stay with that. How many of you have, once it did start going, your couple, and we're talking about my wife here, so we're talking a couple of bags, that your bags are always the first ones that come out of there. Almost never. So let's just be conservative and give another 15 minutes to a half hour in the baggage claim area, right? Just to be conservative, because we don't know, right? So now we are at 3:30, right? Say 3 to 3:30. Well, now you got your bags. Pretty doggone sure by 3:20, 3:15, 3:30, you're going to have your bags. You're ready to go. And so now you go outside and you either go on your app and get an Uber or wait in line for a taxi. Either way, that's going to take, granted, the airport may be a little bit better because most Uber drivers are going to try to be around airports. But there's a line for taxi. So let's just say that's another 10 to 15 minutes, right? So now we are at, what are we at? 3:15 to 3:30-ish. And so most of the time when it's a good half hour, drive to any hotel. Oh, I forgot to tell you, we are stopping at the convenience store on the way home. So we're turning left here. We do have a stop sign here that we got to stop for. And now there is a gap. We do have oncoming vehicles, but there is a gap. We get across. All right, now we're in the parking lot of the convenience store. So let's see how we do here. But staying with my example, so yeah, now we're at 3:30, get to the hotel. So even in my, like my example, you know, just being conservative, just throwing in some flex, you're getting to your hotel about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, we're parking. All right, let's see what we do here. Is it going to try to repark or go do it someplace else? Well, it's going to try to repark. Or is it just going to stop? Well, I think it's just, it did not like give up. That's interesting. But we're at it's saying now Speedy Stop. So I think it's done. So let's end this trip. I'm going to go ahead and, well, I just ended the trip, but it did. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and manually park over here. Yeah, so it was trying to park, and I thought it was reversing out to do a better job, but then it reversed out. So yeah, we're talking about a difference of you're in your hotel room by 4 p.m., but if I drive you in your hotel room by 8 p.m. So yes, you gave up about, so this is a 630 mile trip, right? And going by vehicle, you get it's taking you about 4 hours more. But it took, what's this guy doing? I'm actually chatting right now. No, thank you, sir. No, thank you. Yeah, sorry. Man, I always feel bad for those dudes because you never know their story. But you know, it's still, you know, you never know. I mean, he could be a veteran that's just whacked out of his mind with PTSD, can't get help, or he refuses help for whatever reason, and he's out here on the street. But could also just be somebody trying to hustle. I've seen both of them. I'm going to be honest with you. I've seen a lot more of the latter. There's some hustlers out there. There are some hustlers. And I hate to say it like this, but as a veteran, it's much easier for us to pick up on the hustlers. I'm not going to go into all the details for why we have an ability to, and it's not like some special, it's just it's a psychological thing. And it's also the fact that is used as one of their preambles so many times that the only people that are going to be able to sniff that out are veterans. And so we can tell. We know when it's a hustle and when somebody's like really like whacked out on PTSD or some other sort of psychological issue. But anywho, yeah, so you're giving up 4 hours. But here's the difference though too. One thing we didn't talk about is that in that entire scenario, you're like crammed into a toothpaste tube trying to get through the airport, stressed out, going through security, getting yelled at by the TSA. Take off your shoes, put on your shoes, take out your computer. No, keep your computer in your bag now. I told you 8 times. You don't have to take out your computer. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Like literally you feel like you in order to just get to your gate, you need to like kneel down and bow to the TSA or do something or stand on one foot and whistle a tune for them. It's ridiculous, right? And I get it. Those TSA folks can be overworked, but still, at the end of the day, you're dealing with all that. Then you're dealing with folks at the ticket counter, all the other, and you're sitting in an airport, right? And then you get crammed on a plane, and then you're in somebody's Uber with a human driver, you know, or a taxi cab driver. And if you're a female in a strange city, taking an Uber or a taxi, dudes, I'm going to tell you something. You may not think about this, but for females, just getting into an Uber or a taxi in their own city is a leap of faith. Imagine flying to a city that's not your own, that you know nothing about, and bam, the first thing you do when you get into that new city is you get into a car with a man you do not know. I mean, you say that out loud, and I think history is going to really, really crap on us for that. That we thought that was, I mean, hitchhiking. Remember when, well, y'all don't, y'all are probably younger than me. Hitchhiking used to be a typical way people got around this country in the 50s and 60s. Well, that got to, imagine your kid coming to you and say, hey, I'm going to do a cross-country trip there. Well, how are you going to do it? You ain't got a car. Oh, no problem. I'm just going to hitchhike across the country. In the 1940s and 50s, they wouldn't have blinked an eye at you. Literally would not have blinked an eye. You do that today? Jesus Christ. It's basically a death wish, right? So I think folks are going to look back in time at us expecting a woman to fly to a strange city, and then the first thing she does is get into a car with a strange man taking her someplace she has no clue where she's going. All she said is, can you take me to XYZ hotel? And she's taken a leap of faith that this strange man in a strange car in a strange city is taking her to that hotel she's never been to before. Say that out loud. You telling me that cybercabs and driverless autonomous vehicles aren't going to have a place in that ecosystem? You're high. So anyway, I think I've butchered that one to death, but I think that's a pretty good scenario for regional travel. All right, well, I'm going to run into the convenience store real quick, and then we'll head on home. Talk to y'all in a little bit. Bye-bye. All right, everybody, back in the Tesla. Done at the Speedy Stop. Let's head on back to the casa. Push the little blue button. Put on the rear camera. Nobody behind us or to the side of us, so we start moving out. All right. Got the Ford F350. Yeah, that's a 350 package right there, Super Duty. Got around them. Got a 150 there. And a gentleman going out to his GMC Sierra. So we got, all we need is a Chevy and a Dodge. Where y'all at? Uh-oh, somebody's having some issues out there. Yep. All right. We're pulling out into the exit lane. And I believe we're going to go straight across into the turning median, which I'm going to tell you what, it's a tough one because your visibility to the right over here is, man, there's not a lot of it, but Tesla does better than people do. I should say Tesla FSD does better than people do. All right, there we go. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get across. We're going to avoid the Tundra coming in on the other side. And then I am going to peek out here and just get ready because there's enough. All right, we better go now. There we go. We had another truck coming up, but we had a gap there to get through. Now we got to get all the way over to the turning lane. There is not enough room yet. They move up a bit. Awesome. Let me give them a wave for moving up. Great job, FSD. Great job. Man, that was, whoo. And very nice of the vehicle in front of us to move up just a skosh. And when they did, we had no problem getting in there. I'm telling you, there are previous versions of FSD that would never have tried to do that at all. There was enough room. And I'm going to tell you what, Tesla FSD is better at negotiating that right there than human beings are. Because I've seen human beings miscalculate that and actually scrape somebody on the way through. I've never had that happen with Tesla FSD. It's either because on earlier versions it was just too scared. It would not do it unless it was just wide open. So you were never going to scrape. Now, it is so good. It has gone through passages that, quite frankly, to my eye, I was like, I might just wait. But FSD goes ahead, and it's always been perfect. Because it's a computer. It's AI. It's not AGI, but it is AI. And it can do those calculations, and its calculations are better and faster than you, and its eyesight is much better than you. Like I've said, it's got 8 eyeballs with 360-degree field of view. If you met a dude with 8 eyeballs and 360 degrees field of view, well, first of all, you'd probably crap your pants, because that would be a very weird looking human being. Probably be something on Stranger Things. But, you're not going to be a better driver than that individual. All right, looks like we're just going to parallel park in front of my house. Nothing wrong with that. Let me turn that. Yeah. So, great drive. Again, nothing too complex today, just going out to the family restaurant and boba shop. But that is a normal daily drive, especially on a weekend where we're just in town for a little bit and we head right on back up to Wichita, Kansas. So, all right, everybody. I hope all of y'all continue to have a great weekend. It continues to tomorrow. And that if I don't talk to you again soon, like I said, I'm going to be on the road all day tomorrow. I did not download and upload my drive through Dallas going back this time. And the reason why is because the traffic was so bad that navigation had us take the long way around Dallas, so we did not even go through Dallas coming home. We went around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I forget that loop, but I think it's the George Bush Turnpike. But I mean, there was nothing to film there. You're going 20 miles out of your way, but that was still more efficient than going through I-35 and I-45 through Dallas. So hopefully, it's not that we're able to go through Dallas this time around. And if I have something, I will upload that for y'all. But if I don't, the next time I talk to you, I'll be back in Wichita. All right, everybody. Love y'all. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.